Hello, welcome to the Rise and Ride Show, the space for horse riders who have lost their confidence but are ready to find their joy again. If you've ever felt nervous in the saddle or doubted yourself, you're not alone. We've all been there, including me. This is your place to feel seen and supported. Each week we'll explore some simple, practical ways to rebuild your confidence and reconnect with your horse. I'm Katie from Align and Advance, and I'm so happy you're here. Let's get started. So this week we are talking about the 5 things that I wish that I'd known when I lost my confidence. Losing your confidence in the saddle is one of the loneliest and most devastating feelings as a rider. But it can be the beginning of something really quite powerful. When I first realised that I'd lost my confidence, I felt immense pressure. I didn't think that I would go back to horse riding again. But when I had 2 daughters, there was a secret niggle there. What if they like riding? It wouldn't have mattered if I had 2 sons, because they may well have liked riding too. But it was just, sometimes it's just so nice to get kids into riding. It just teaches them so much. So I kind of had that thought in the back of my mind. And then obviously all the other thoughts come in of like, oh my God, it costs so much money. It costs so much time. And maybe not. But then we started to kind of go down the horsey route, and then actually being able to loan Toby, I was just thrilled to bits. And then it started to go a little bit wrong, and I started to lose my confidence, and I thought, no, this is my dream, that I'll be out hacking one day or riding cross country with my girls, and this isn't going to happen, and just, I thought it was all terrible, even though really Toby is not a naughty boy. Just, sometimes big things happen, sometimes small things happen. Confidence loss can just happen at any point. Physically, the losing of my confidence just felt horrible. I felt like I was riding really badly. My chest was tight, my hands were tight, my seat was tight, my legs were tight. Well, it was just awful, and I was not making that poor pony feel good when I was riding him. I felt really frustrated. Of course, I didn't talk to anyone about it because that's just me, and it would have been much quicker to get over it if I had have done. I did eventually speak to my riding instructor about it, and she was our absolute saviour in Toby's behaviour, which then helped me. But I'd at that point started working on myself anyway, and starting to learn all of this stuff, which I'm now teaching you, so that hopefully you can get back to riding confidently much more quickly than I did. And also the pressure of like, I should be better than this. I've been riding since I was 6, and I thought, I've never considered myself an excellent rider. Like, I've not ridden to like mega high levels, but I have always thought of myself as a confident person and confident rider. And I was kind of like shattering that, really. So if you've lost confidence, you're not broken, you're not weak, you're not alone. Just need you to know that. I think the you're not alone part is definitely a really, really powerful thing. Sometimes in the horsey world we can feel a little bit judged. I think it's probably the same in any world, to be fair, in any sport or any fairly serious hobby. I consider horse riding a serious hobby. If your hobby's cross stitch, you can kind of dip in and out of it, but once you're in it with the horses, you're in it. So I think with any kind of serious hobby, you can sort of feel judged sometimes, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it's just how we feel. So what had I wish I'd known when I lost my confidence? I wish I'd known that confidence is not a personality trait, it's a state. So confidence isn't something you either have or you don't have. But I've had people say this to me a lot in my life, that you are so confident. Oh, wow. Like, you're always so confident. Yeah, I am quite a lot, but I choose to be. And then when this blip happened with my confidence and riding, it really knocked me off my perch. I was like, oh no, not me anymore. But confidence isn't something you have or don't have. It fluctuates. It can fluctuate in different situations. It can fluctuate depending on who you're around, what you're around, and what you're doing. It's influenced by your nervous system state rather than like what it is by your brain, but rather than your personality. It can be rebuilt as well, which is excellent. So a lot of elite riders talk about mindset and mental strength, and even top riders manage nerves. But because they're top riders, they have people. They have people to help them manage those nerves. They're not often doing it on their own. So I think having people to help you manage your nerves is an absolutely great idea. So like I can be one of those people, but also friends can be one of those people to help you manage your nerves, as long as they're on the same page as you and they're not like too harsh. So your brain is trying to protect you. And your fear is like information, not failure. So you need to treat it like information. So when you realise that you're scared at a certain point, you need to analyse that moment and why you might be scared in that moment. And confidence comes from regulation. So regulating your nervous system first and then repetition. Do not repeat things when your nervous system is not regulated, because then your mind will connect the riding with an unregulated nervous system and fear and being upset and awful things. Number 2 that I wish I'd known was, I wish I'd known my body wasn't betraying me, it was protecting me. So I was getting really, really cross at myself. Kind of the shaking, the feeling upset. I'm not a massive crier, but it doesn't matter if you are or you aren't. Like, essentially, I was really, really upset that I can't do this feeling. That is your nervous system protecting you to make you go, well, no, you can't do this at the moment because you're not safe. It's like the fight, flight. I can never say this. For someone in my job, this is a bad thing. I can never say fight, flight, or freeze mode that your body goes into. Okay, so when your nervous system is not regulated and you go into that mode, then it is your body trying to protect you and keep you safe. And it's also why, like, just being positive does not work. You can't just, when your nerves are jangling all over the place, you can't just easily just be positive. So I also practice equine Reiki, and I can do Reiki on people. I just choose not to. I like the horses, but I also practice equine Reiki, and that's like about balancing energy, and that's a really, really good way if you can balance your energy before you ride, or even while you're riding, it's a really, really good way of stopping your nervous system from going haywire. So if you take just a moment to breathe a massive deep breath right down into your stomach, imagine your stomach swelling, and then I always imagine like my breath as a colour, and that colour's like swirling all through your body, and then just slowly letting it out. That's a really good way to reset your nervous system and regulate your energy. So that's a really good breathing tool, and a really good technique also is when you're mounted to just start naming things left and right, your feelings, your what you can hear, what you can see. So I kind of go through numbers. So name one thing I can feel. Okay, I can feel the reins in my hands. Name two things I can smell. I can smell the lovely, lovely smell of my horse. Oh, it's the best smell in the world, isn't it? And maybe the muck heap. And three things that you can hear. I can hear the birds singing. I might be able to hear my heart racing, but let's not focus on that one. I can hear the birds singing. I can hear the radio on in the barn, and just go through things like that, and it can really help take you out of that fight or flight mode. Okay, number 3. I wish I'd known that avoidance makes things worse. So this is quite big, isn't it? When you just decide to stop hacking, when you decide to stop jumping, when you decide to stop riding altogether, you're not fixing the problem. And actually, your horse might need those things. I mean, there might, obviously you can cut out one discipline and still continue. But what if your horse absolutely loves it? What if it was born to jump cross country? And what if you were too? So cutting those things out, really, once you start cutting out one, it's a slippery slope. And then you'll just sort of start cutting out the others, really. So avoidance feels safe short term, but it's not a long-term fix. It can really, really strengthen the fear long term, because you're just telling yourself, well, I can't do that anymore, it's not safe. So tiny exposures rebuild confidence faster than big pushes, and they rebuild things in the correct way. So if you have had an accident jumping cross country over a particular size fence, so it's a 1 metre fence, and you had your accident there, do perhaps a cross country arena hire with some options of different sizes of fence in the arena, and then start off small and repeat over the smaller fences, and then work your way up, but only in each session only do the ones that you are consistently feeling happy with. If you do one and you think, oh my god, no, can't do that again, go back and then build back up again. Okay, so that is kind of a really good way to just kind of gently reintroduce things. Big pushes aren't such a good idea. And 4, I wish I'd known that confidence comes from safety, not forcing it. Okay, so this is kind of where the just get back on message is not really part of my game plan. Sort of choosing the right environment is really, really important. Choosing the right instructor is massively important. You're so vulnerable, aren't you, at the hands of your instructor? They've just got to be the right fit for you. Even if your bestest yard buddy thinks that this instructor is the bee's knees, if their personality and the way they do things doesn't gel with you, it doesn't mean they're a bad instructor, it just means they're not for you. So take some time to find the correct instructor, get recommendations from people that have the same personality traits as you. The right pace for you. I'm a little bit of a rusher in my personal life. I spout all of this, take it slow information to people. Sometimes I talk the talk but don't walk the walk, and I have to make myself listen to my own advice, because otherwise I have in the past had blips. I might talk about one of those actually on another podcast because it'd be quite long. But I've had blips by pushing myself and my horse too fast too soon. So the right pace for you, not for somebody else, not for anyone else who just goes, well, I think you're ready now. No, are you ready? You decide, okay? And sometimes, controversial this one, the right horse. I know you love your horse dearly, and that is the aim of the game, isn't it? To start like absolutely doing all the wonderful things with just your horse. But if you need a little bit of babysitting for a while on the yard, like bomb-proof, most gorgeous animal, then use it. You know, if you've got the opportunity to ride someone's horse who is just an absolute angel, and you feel like you need a little bit of building up, then ride that horse. So, you know, it's that'd be really, really good for you to build some really like positive, good memories. And then when you're doing things like visualizations, you can like swap out that horse from your actual good memory and swap it for yours. Number 5, I wish I had known that losing my confidence would make me a better rider. All right, I'm not marvellous. I still need a bazillion lessons. However, I think it made me more empathetic with my horse and myself. I'm not that kind to myself sometimes, and we all should be kind to ourselves. And it has made me kinder to myself, I think. It's made me a bit softer with horses. I'm quite a softie anyway, and obviously I do equine Reiki, so I can err towards the woo-woo. But, you know, it has made me softer. And it's made me understand both of our nervous systems, not just mine, theirs as well. And it's led me to create a line and advance, so and help other people, which is just like the biggest joy in my life. So, you know, confidence loss isn't the end of your riding, isn't the end of your competing, isn't the end of your hacking. It can be just the beginning of a different way of doing it and feeling much, much happier doing it. So, yeah, it can be a very, very good thing. I'd really love to hear from you. I'd like to hear what you're avoiding right now, if anything, what really worries you. I'd really like you to think about this week, like what would just being like 1% braver look like to you? And how do you think that like listening to this podcast or taking on other tips from other people, like how do you think that you could get there? And what could you do that would kind of be a little tiny stretch for you, but you still feel relatively safe? Like, I just don't want you to be completely outside of your comfort zone. But what could you do this week that would just like push you that teeny tiny bit further? And you can be supported by other people while you do this. You don't have to be all on your own. Some people like to do things on their own, and I understand that. But you don't have to be all on your own. So if you want to chat over any of these things, you're welcome to book a discovery call with me. I love to hear about everybody's journey. So my email is alignandadvance@gmail.com. If you ever want to email me, I love to hear how everybody's getting on. And it helps me as well, like knowing if you tell me what your fears are and what you really struggle with, it helps me to create episodes for this podcast that can help you. So if you are absolutely welcome to let me know. If you're really, really struggling with your confidence at the moment, please just know you're not failing. You're not alone. You're rebuilding, and that takes courage. And it's really great that you're like seeking out things like this to listen to and taking some positive steps. So I hope that you feel more confident soon. Yeah, take care, and I will see you next week for another episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.